This is something that's always a struggle for me just because I'm not a systematic routine type person, but knowing how laid back I am and how scattered and all over the place my brain is, the routines and a little bit of structure are really the only thing that give me a sense of peace, especially amidst the chaos that is summer. So today I'm just diving into some of the things that I am taking into account as I'm looking forward into planning my summer and how I'm trying to navigate keeping my own health and wellness as a priority, because we know as those kids come home, the first thing to go is usually the me time. Hey, I'm your host, Dr. Desiree Cassell. I'm an orthopedic and pelvic floor physical therapist specializing in women's health, aka pelvic floor. I'm a wife, mom of 3, foodie, lover of all things movement and nature, and I'm super passionate about educating, empowering, and supporting other women like you to find and maintain balance throughout all aspects of their lives, without pain, pressure, or peeing their pants. And this is the Balanced Momtality Podcast, where we will talk about all things pelvic floor, your core, and optimizing your pregnancy, birth, and postpartum recovery, providing you with the knowledge and tools so that you can feel like the strong, playful, and happy mom that you and your family deserve. Now let's get you out of those pads and back to loving movement. Fill up your water, pop in those AirPods, roll out your mat, and let's connect. Before we start today's episode, just a quick disclaimer that anything mentioned in this podcast is not meant to treat or diagnose any medical conditions. If you have any questions or concerns about your healthcare needs, please seek the care of your medical provider. This is also a safe space where we will be talking about very sensitive but important topics, such as issues with peeing and pooping, relationships, and even sex. So if you have littles around, probably a good idea to pop those AirPods in. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. It's summer vacation, and that can bring a lot of feelings for a lot of us moms home with our kiddos. I know I have mixed feelings when it comes to summer break. I'm always super excited for it and ready for it. I'm done making school lunches. I'm so over it. I'm sick of waking my kids up early and trying to force them to get out of bed. The laundry for school clothes, there's a lot of things I'm excited to be done with. However, I also know that when my kids are home full time, they're constant tornadoes. My house is always a mess. My fridge is always empty. They're constantly eating me out of home. They're always eating, not enough snacks. And it can be overwhelming and exhausting and hard to be in a routine and feeling like you're accomplishing anything. And to some extent, that's okay, right? It's summer. Summer is meant to kind of just give everybody a break and not have to hold so tightly to the schedules and routines. However, those routines and schedules keep us all sane for a reason. And so I do think there's some benefit to keeping some order in your summer. And this is something that's always a struggle for me just because I'm not a systematic routine type person, but knowing how laid back I am and how scattered and all over the place my brain is, the routines and a little bit of structure are really the only thing that give me a sense of peace, especially amidst the chaos that is summer. So today I'm just diving into some of the things that I am taking into account as I'm looking forward into planning my summer and how I'm trying to navigate keeping my own health and wellness as a priority, because we know as those kids come home, the first thing to go is usually the me time. It's your gym time. It's your quiet time. It's anything around you is now gone because your kids are there and it's hard to plan around them, especially when there is no structure at all. So I wanted this episode just to help get you thinking a little bit if you haven't already. I know some of you moms are like, girlfriend, I've already had my summer planned like a month or two ago. And that's because you are that type A systematic person. And I'm jealous because it just works against my grain. And it is hard for me to get these systems in place and so hard for me to show up for them. But with all the work I've done, I have to give another plug to my girl, Chelsea Joe. She is all about systems. I have gone through her Systemize Your Life and Systemize Your Biz. She has her own podcast called Systemize Your Life. So if you are interested in any of the things I'm even talking about today, she's got a whole podcast full of great nuggets of information. And so definitely something worth checking out. But this episode is just to get you thinking about some of those systems and routines, and what is your plan moving forward through the summer? Are you just going to be home the whole time with your kids? They don't have any childcare set up. Maybe you're not working and you're at home with them. And this is where it can just turn into pure chaos because there is no structure. And again, I'm not against no structure. I think I'm fully a no structure person. And so not to say we don't want to just be free in the summer and have, wake up whenever we want, go to sleep when we're tired, eat when we want. I think there's beauty in that. But if we can plan a little bit of things, a little bit of structure, it can go a long way in your sanity. So these are some of the things that I am planning and trying to think ahead so that I can be a little proactive, but just simply think, if you haven't already, what are your kids going to be doing? What are you going to be doing? Are you going to be at work? If so, where are your kids going to be? If they're going to be home, what are they going to be doing? If you're going to be home, are you going to be swimming? Are you going to be going on adventures? Are you just going to play it by ear every day? Do you have vacations? Just start thinking about it, because this, I was listening to Chelsea Joe's podcast on her summer prep, and it did get me thinking. I'm like, okay, what am I going to be doing with my kids? Because I was just like, yay, summer, we get a pool membership. We usually go swimming. Hopefully we'll get some camping trips in. And yes, I'm hoping for one trip to the beach. I am really working hard trying to save so I can take my babies to the beach this summer. But beyond that, I hadn't really thought about it. And so now here are some of the things that I am planning a little bit, just again to make sure that I am staying on top of the things that are really important to me this summer. And that's something to think about, is what does this summer look like for your family? What is important for you and your family in this season? Are you wanting to sign your kids up for all the camps? If so, you probably should have done that a month or two ago. I know that some of that stuff happens really early. Maybe not. Maybe there's some last minute camps you can sign them up for. Is it all about family time? If so, you need to plan some family time. It doesn't just happen. And in fact, this was something I was thinking about because, we're home a lot. So we have quote unquote family time, but it's not family time. It's not quality time. We're just all home together, driving each other nuts, fighting. What show are we going to watch? What are we going to do? So-and-so took my toy. So-and-so came into my room. Like, that's not the quality family time that we're looking for, right? So this is where I'm really thinking, because for me, summer is a time to disconnect and a time to reconnect with our family and with our relationships. Disconnecting from the schedules and the to-dos and the homework and the school, but let's reconnect together and make some time. And this does take a little bit of planning. So I'm making a list of some of the fun family activities that I would like to do with my family. And I'm also getting input from my family. So I think that's a great first thing to do, is just, what do your kids want to do this summer? What does your partner want to do this summer? What do you want to do this summer? I know personally, I want to get out in the mountains more. I live so close to these beautiful mountains and I just do not get into them enough. So that is one of my big goals this summer, is just to get out in nature and go explore as a family, whether that's camping, hiking, a picnic day trip, whatever it is. I want to get out into the mountains more. But I also know, like my kids, they want to go swimming. So swimming is definitely going to be on our priority list. And, whatever else they want to do, maybe they want to have a camp out on the trampoline or in the backyard. Maybe I know they love doing s'mores in our backyard, so we'll probably have some fire pit nights. Maybe we'll set up a movie night outside. Like, what types of activities and things do your kids really want to try and do, and create that summer bucket list, because this can be really fun. And it also gives you guys something to do when you're sitting there going, okay, so what should we do today? And then you can look at your list and pick something out. So just start prioritizing and thinking about some of those things and activities that you want to do with your family. Because for me, family time is really important over the summer. But another thing that's really important in the summer and at all times of my life, and really why I wanted to do this podcast episode for you, is our health and wellness. Because like I said, this can be one of the first things to go out the window. And for good reason, because again, remember, family time, that can kind of trump everything else, but it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to replace your time and your goals that you have set and worked so hard on. And so with that being said, this is kind of what I'm doing to make sure that my fitness is still in the forefront of my summer break, and so that my kids know that this is still a priority and still something that we are going to make time for. So what this means is I am still looking out at my week and trying to figure out where the best place is for that time, because maybe it's not in the morning anymore. Maybe you were getting it in at 9 or 10 and going to the gym like I was, and now that your kids are home, you're like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And so let's play around with that. Can we wake up a little earlier and get some time in before the kids wake up? Or maybe we do it later in the evening or afternoon when we have someone come home that they can watch the kids for you. Or maybe like me, my kids are just going to be a part of it, and they're going to come to the gym with me. I am still planning on going to my classes at the gym. That is just a priority for me, so that I can be that happier, healthier person and show up better for them. So I'm still prioritizing my gym time. However, if that's not an option for you, or like even me, I'm kind of knowing going in this with grace. We need to give ourselves grace and compassion for those days that it just doesn't go quite right, or those weeks, or maybe it turns into months in the whole summer and it's just not happening as you wanted. You wanted to make the time to show up and do the exercises, even at home on your mat or whatever it is, and it's just not really happening. That's okay, but that doesn't mean everything has to take a pause. Let's just make sure we're getting in some activity. And this is great for kids as well. Let's make it a whole family thing. Go on the hike. That's a great way to get exercise in, bond, be outside. So many great things with just going out on a hike or a walk. If you don't have beautiful mountains like I do, just go outside and go for a family walk every day. Boom, you got in some exercise, you got in some family time, you got in some fresh air. It's a great option. Or again, it's summer, go swim. Don't just sit on the side and watch your kids play. Get in the water and actually move. This does not have to be swimming laps. You could just be sitting there, moving your body against the resistance that the water gives you. Swimming and being in water is so great because it off-weights your joints, takes off some of that pressure and inflammation, especially if you have arthritis or you're really overweight. The pool is a great place to get some gentle movement in, but it also adds resistance, which helps with our muscles. And this is the key. We need strengthening of our muscles. So even if that's walking in the water, forwards, backwards, sideways, marching in the water, doing jumping jacks in the water, there's so many different ways that you can get movement and resistance in the water that the pool is another great place to get some of that activity in. But again, what does your family like to do? Maybe you want to go out and just play a little pickup, catch-up game of soccer or basketball, or you're going to go paddleboarding on a lake. Like, there are so many great active things that we can do now that it's beautiful outside that doesn't have to be going to the gym, getting on your mat, picking up weights, making a structured quote-unquote exercise time block, but you can still get in your exercise. especially if you are thinking of all of those things I've mentioned in so many of my episodes that will make everything you do a core and pelvic floor workout, right? So if you're creating that brace, you're zippering up your core, you're thinking about your breath every time you're picking up the kids' toys, laundry baskets, groceries, pushing a cart up a heavy hill, a cart or a stroller up a heavy hill, right? Like, we don't even necessarily have to go get in a long hike. If you're just moving around your house a lot and you're thinking of those mechanics, the breath work, how is your core engaging? Sometimes in this season, in the summer, that's what your activity is, and you're still getting benefit from everything you're already doing, and you're saving your body from hurting your back, hurting your shoulders, hurting your hips with this engagement and using the breath. But ideally, we are getting in some walks, some outside time, some structured activity or play or unstructured, whatever it is, just try and stay moving this summer, and don't feel like your health and wellness has to take a total beating and be at the bottom of the list, and then come the end of the summer and you're so strung out and you're also resentful and annoyed because you didn't exercise. Because not only is this going to help you stay active, but then that activity and exercise and being outside and being with your family and all these great things is going to also regulate you. It's going to regulate your mood, regulate your energy, give you the energy to make you feel like you can keep up with it all, and make you feel sane, because you're also taking time for you, and you're hopefully doing some breath work throughout the day, even at the end of the day in bed. It's going to help regulate your system and just keep things going for you and keeping them on the right track towards your goals. So maybe we play around with your breath work and it's not a huge flow routine. Maybe you're just doing a minute or two in bed, or maybe instead of getting up and going to the gym for an hour, you're only doing 20 or 30 minutes at home on a mat. That's fine. But we need to set realistic expectations for what our health and wellness is going to look like in this season of summer, and realign everything. Maybe we are changing what we're doing. Maybe we're changing how much we're doing, but we need to keep our health and wellness and our exercise and activity up at that forefront priority as we move through summer. But the other thing that makes a huge difference as we go into summer break that we want to plan a little bit, that is big for our health and wellness, is our food. Because again, with our kids being home all the time, this is when food can be, I know for me, it's super overwhelming, because like I said, they just eat, and nothing's ever enough and nothing's ever the right thing because they're sick of eating the same things. And yeah, I hate it. And so one of the things that really helps with this is meal planning. And it is summer, so sometimes there needs to be flexibility, right? Maybe you order the pizza on a night where you thought you had planned a meal, or you end up going over to a friend's for a barbecue. That's okay. There needs to be grace and, again, compassion and patience with yourself when things don't really go quite right, and having some flexibility, because that is kind of the fun of summer, is being able to be flexible and do random different things at the last minute. But at the same time, if we have some structure, a little bit of an outline of what types of foods your family likes to eat, keeping some of those staples at home, and a lot of healthy snacks, right? Because like I'm thinking, my kids love to snack. They would just eat all of the bars, all of the gummies if I let them. So my goal and what I'm planning going into the summer is to have a lot of fresh cut up fruits and vegetables that I normally would send in their lunch, but they would come home not eaten. And now that they're home, I'm going to make sure they're eating their fruits and vegetables. So making sure some of those healthier snacks are easy and available on the go. So also when you're going to the pool or going on that hike, you can just grab a few of those healthy snacks, some carrots, some cucumber, maybe some hummus dip. Maybe you do have a protein bar or cheese sticks. There's lots of healthy options for snacking, but we can end up snacking and eating really poorly if we don't plan. So there is that saying, if you don't plan, you plan to fail. What is it? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's what it is. Obviously, I'm not very good at it, but I'm getting there, right? So planning is something that is new to me, but I am realizing how crucial it is, because otherwise you're stuck in that rut of crap. What are we eating for dinner tonight? I didn't really plan anything. I guess we're getting McDonald's again, or we're ordering pizza again. And that's where we can really just, our health can take a dive, and we'll start to feel like crap. You won't have the energy to keep up with everything. And it's just a vicious cycle. So let's plan. Let's prepare our food a little bit, and we are going to plan so that we're not failing here. We're going to outline some of the meals that our family likes, some healthy snacks, have them on hand, and easy to go snacks that you can have on hand. Start thinking of some of those activities, especially active things that your family might like to do together, some sports you might like, some outdoor stuff you guys might like, and really take advantage of those. If you find that you've just been binging on the couch for a couple days, because yes, that's also a-okay. And it's also okay to have pizza. Like, it's all about the balance, but we have to check in. If you've been there hanging out on the couch being bums for a day, let's do something. Get up, move your bodies, go for a little walk, go jump on the trampoline with your kids. And if you cannot do that because you are leaking, then let me know, because we need to fix that right away, because you should be out there jumping with those kids, making those memories with your family this summer, and not feeling like you are sacrificing all of your health and wellness and the goals that you've been working so hard on. So if you have any specific goals or things that you're trying to tackle this summer or make happen this summer that you just don't know how, or you're just wanting accountability or support or more tips, please come over to the Balanced Momtality Wellness and Support Group. It's free and private. Ask questions. Help our group out with other fun tips and tricks if you have them. It's a space there for you, but I just wanted this episode to just get you thinking about summer and how you are going to still get activity in, how you're still going to be eating healthy, how you really want to spend that time this summer. But otherwise, I hope you have a great summer break, and we will be checking in weekly still on the Balanced Momtality podcast. Well, that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day. I know you've got so many other important things going on, but I hope it was helpful and you leave here with some tools to help you in your healing journey. And I just want to ask you, if you have found this helpful, to please leave a review on iTunes. Scroll down to the bottom of my podcast page and leave that 5-star review so it can help other women see this information. And also, if you want to be a part of my community of amazing women trying to balance all the things, great tips and insight, and sharing stories and just motivating each other along the way, feel free to join my Facebook group, The Balanced Momtality Wellness and Support. I hope to see you here next time on the Balanced Momtality podcast.